Good morning, friends. I hope everyone is doing well. I request everyone to watch my videos in a sequence for better understanding. In this video, I want to discuss about I/O interface. First, let me discuss what is the I/O interface and how the architecture will looks like. Then we will discuss about the need for I/O interface. Okay. Now, if you see that we have a CPU and the I/O device will be connected using an I/O bus and we have an interface. So each I/O device we will have a interface. Suppose if it is a keyboard, we will have an interface. If it is a monitor, we will have a interface. If it is a mouse, we will have a interface. If it is a printer, we will have an interface to connect it. So if you see that CPU is connected with the I/O devices with the help of I/O bus. Now I/O bus will consist of three separate buses such as address bus, control bus, data bus. Now what is a bus? It is a collection of wires. And what is the need of this bus is to carry the information from one device to another device. Now you can ask me, what is that address bus will carry? Address bus will carry the address from one device to another device. Similarly, control bus will transfer the control signals such as read, write, all these type of signals will be transferred with the help of control bus. Now data bus will carry the data from one device to another device. So all these three buses combinedly we will call it as a I/O bus because they are connected with the I/O devices. Now you can see that between a CPU and an I/O device we have an interface. What is the purpose of this any interface between the CPU and I/O devices? They will act as a mediator between the CPU and I/O device. Then you can ask me why they are required. They are required because the CPU is a electronic device and the I/O devices are electromagnetic device. So to convert the signals from electronic device to electromagnetic device, we need an interface. That is the first one. And the second one is the I/O devices data transfer rate is very slow as compared to the processing speed of a CPU. And the third one is that the data codes and formats are different from the CPU and the I/O devices. Is it clear? Because suppose let's take that I have a CPU which is 64-bit architecture and I have a memory which is a 32-bit word or 64-bit word memory is there. But however, if I take a keyboard, the keyboard have a 8-bit word because using a keyboard we can transfer one character per time. Means one character we will press. One character is what? 8-bit one. Am I right or wrong? So even the data formats and codes are different from the CPU and the I/O device. So because of these 3 points, we need the I/O interface. Okay. Then you can ask me, sir, how they will be communicated? You suppose if CPU want to have a communicate with I/O device, how it will be communicated? The first thing is that the CPU, let's take that it has written some 100 address. It want to communicate with the device with an address 100. Everything is in terms of address only. Our address is nothing but a location. So this address will be transferred using the address bus. So CPU will keep the 100 address in the address bus, and now the address which belongs to which device, whether it is I/O device 1, I/O device 2, I/O device 3. Suppose let's take that this address belongs to I/O device 1 or this device. Then this device will be activated and all other devices will be deactivated. Means themselves only they will be done. And now another thing. Once it comes to know that it has to communicate with the device I/O device 1, now what communication, whether it want to do the read or write. Is it clear? Suppose if it wants to read the information, that information will be transferred to the using the control bus. So the control signals, it is read and write are the control signals. So the control signals will be transferred using control bus. Okay. Then the actual data will be transferred. Are you able to understand? We have 3 stages, 3 steps. One is that CPU will keep the address on the address bus. Then the corresponding I/O device will be activated and all other will be deactivated. And if it wants to read or write, that information will be carried through the control bus. Then actual data will be transferred using the data bus. So I hope you have understood what is an IO interface, what is the need of IO interface, and how the communication will happen between a CPU and IO device. And you can ask me, sirs, between IO device and memory, let's take that we have a memory also. Now how the communication will be happen? The communication can be happen with the help of three modes. One is the programmed mode, and we have a interrupt driven mode, and we have a direct memory access. When it comes to the direct memory access, the communication will happen directly between the memory and the IO devices with the help of direct memory access concept. Okay. However, using the programmed IO or interrupt driven IO, then the communication will happen between the memory and the IO device with the help of CPU. So that's what I can say, that the master of this bus, okay, the bus will be controlled by the CPU for maximum time. That will call it as a bus master. Is it clear? Except in direct memory access, the CPU will be always the bus master. Only in the direct memory access technique, then only CPU will transfer its bus duties to the direct memory access unit, so that the communication will be happen without help of CPU. All these things we will discuss in the coming videos. You don't worry if you does not understand these words called programmed IO, interrupt driven IO, and the direct memory access. What I want to say is that usually the CPU will be the master for these buses. Okay, that is what I want to say here. So I hope you have understood what are the concepts I have discussed in this video. If you still have any doubts related to this video, feel free to ask me in the comment section. I will try to clear your doubts in less than 24 hours. Thank you for watching my video. Have a nice day.